if we're really honing in on the needs for this team, you wonder, is it starting pitching? Maybe. We talked a little bit about that. We talked a lot about that right now. Maybe they need some starting pitching. I think one pitcher would not hurt. I don't think just any pitcher is what this team needs, though. Like, they need to be operating at the top of the market when it comes to starting pitching. They don't need just an innings eater because they can get by on the innings. We've talked about it a bunch of times. We don't need to see this team go out and win 100 games. They don't need to win 110 games. They don't need to win 95 games. Just make it to the dance. I don't care how you do it, but you need to have 3 dudes who are absolute dogs at the top of your rotation that you can put out against anybody in a first round, in a game 1, in the second round, whatever it may be, in an elimination game. You need to have these guys that are ready to go. And maybe Glasnow's that guy, but I don't know how many of these dudes the Dodgers are going to go after, because there's going to be a lot of teams that are really in on somebody like a Tarik Skubal, somebody like Garrett Crochet, and we'll note these guys also have kind of their issues. Backpedaling a little bit here, Bob Nightengale, he put out an article in the USA Today recently saying that MLB GMs and executives, people that he's talked to, say that the Dodgers are going to be among the most aggressive teams at the deadline. And you don't need to be an insider to know that. You just got to watch the team, and you got to know Andrew Friedman a little bit. I think we all were probably on that same page that this team was going to be very, very active at the trade deadline. This is not going to be like the 20 Dodgers who their trade deadline was just trading away Ross Stripling. It's not going to be like the 2021, 2022 offseason Dodgers, or was it 22, 23, who let a bunch of dudes go. It's offseason, though. They're going to be working. They're going to be putting in some hump and hustle. Hey, 23, they didn't do very good at that deadline at all, by the way. Let's talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Let's just remind ourselves that we as fans, walked away with Lance Lynn, and that is an effing problem. But Dodgers need to operate at the top of the market. They kind of need to operate in the middle of the market. There's a lot of bad teams in baseball right now. A lot of really bad teams in baseball, and they got options. They got some names, but I don't know how many of these teams really have the high upside guys. There's maybe 5 max guaranteed high upside guys out there. But like I said, you need a high upside pitcher, starting pitcher. You need an infielder with upside, somebody that either can play, shortstop, and Miguel Rojas moves to third base, whether that's a Bo Bichette. I don't know. Again, that's not somebody with... There's high upside with Bo Bichette. I think he's very much a change of scenery guy. I don't think a lot of fans would be exceptionally excited with Bo Bichette. He's not a great... what am I looking for? Sorry, I got distracted by a message on the chat here. So... He's not the best. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going for. Oh, that's right. Bichette, he's not the best defender at shortstop. Thank you for helping me get there. Kenny Chung says not the best talent. Fair. But if you get a shortstop, Miguel Rojas can play third. I don't like that, but it is an option. Of course, you get a third baseman. Mookie can go to second base. We all got to feel in our soul that there's not a damn chance that Gavin Lux is the starting second baseman for this team come October, unless he goes to AAA and figures some things out. Bring it back. So if you're doing that, Mookie's at second, Miguel Rojas is at shortstop, you feel pretty good. Maybe they need an outfielder. I don't think they need an outfielder as much anymore just because there isn't a high upside guy. I'm not in on Luis Robert anymore. Randy Arozarena, we're back to it. I'm seeing Los Doyers saying trade for Randy Arozarena. Problem with Tampa, they're 5.5 games. 5.5 games behind or out of a wild card spot. They like playing, even if they have 4 teams ahead of them in the AL Central, in the AL East. They love being in the postseason, even though they're probably not going to win it. It would probably be very smart of them to trade from an area where they have a little bit of I don't know if they have an excess or whatever, but they have somebody that is desirable, and that is Randy Arozarena. I'd love to have Randy Wood. I've talked about this a whole bunch. get me Randy Arozarena in left field, then I think you feel really damn good. How much do we believe in James Outman, by the way? Jury is still out. Looks good. Looks good in his first few games. 3 for 5. But if Jimmy Outman is your starting center fielder, and I don't know. I don't know how they kind of work it out. Like how do we feel about Outman? How do we feel about Pages in the outfield? If it's one of those guys, cool. If it's both of them, Dodgers absolutely messed up at the trade deadline. If Chris Taylor's getting reps out there, we know Teo's going to be in there. Teoscar Hernandez is going to be in there. Hey, let's go back and do that one little sneaky idea of, you can hear this guy Shohei Ohtani. He said maybe by September he can play some left field. I think the Dodgers also very, very messed up if Shohei's playing left field. But could be fun. What it opens up at DH, I don't know. Doesn't really open up very much because your best hitter is your DH is Shohei Ohtani. I don't know, just talking in circles with that. But anyways, all right, let's look at the for sure sellers. We know Chicago White Sox are for sure sellers. We know the Miami Marlins for sure sellers. We know the Oakland Athletics are for sure selling. The likely guys, you got Colorado, you got Anaheim, you got Toronto, you got Detroit. A couple of guys in some of those teams. This is where you really, really want those teams to crater. Thank you, Mike Carrillo, saying Tigers are going to sell. I said likely. They're 7.5 games out of the wild card entering play today. I significantly doubt they think they're in it. I think they still need to. They still need a lot of rebuilding. They still need a lot of pieces, and somebody like a Jack Flaherty right now would help them a lot. Somebody like Tarik Skubal, who is the thumbnail of this video, at least at the moment. That's somebody who could net you a small fortune in prospects. So that's something big. Another one, before we dive into those guys, is I have a little handful of dudes. Phrasing? I have a handful of players that I want to kind of dive into. But the possibly. So we got our likely sellers, we got our for sure sellers, and we have the possibly sellers. That's the Texas Rangers. Another 7.5 game behind the wild card spot team. They have no pitching, but they have pitching coming back. Jacob deGrom coming back at some point. Max Scherzer back. He's healthy. If they get one more pitcher in a deal for somebody like a Josh Smith, who is a guy we've talked about, goes a long way. Or what Showtime LA is saying there, deGrom with the eyes. Maybe they boot it. Maybe they sell. Maybe they trade away somebody like a Jacob deGrom. Maybe they trade away somebody like a Nate Eovaldi. Bring him back home. I'll tell you, if there's one team I'm rooting for to tank, to win 0 baseball games from now until the 30th of July, it's the Texas Rangers, because that team has so much talent that would fit in beautifully with this Dodgers team. Cubs, they're 5.5 games back. I don't like any of the Cubs. I really don't. I don't care for a single one of the Cubs. I know my guy, producer Kevin, he's high on Ian Happ. Not my style. I don't think that's a big, massive addition to this team. I don't think it's what they need. It would be a good addition, for sure, undoubtedly. He's a good player, as Mike Carrillo says in here. Kenny Chung's no on Happ. BC says no Cubs. So, the user me says trade for Michael Bush. See what you did there. I don't like any of the Cubs. That's me personally. In Washington, we'll say Washington real quick. They're 5 games back of a wild card somehow. The only name there is C.J. Abrams, and C.J. Abrams is not going to be available. Joe Mama says pass on Cubs. Thank you. I don't like a single one of the Cubs. Jameson Taillon, probably their most acquirable starting pitcher, but he hasn't, he's been okay. He's been good. He hasn't been good in his career. He hasn't been great in his career, but he's not giving postseason starter. That's what I'm trying to look for. Then again, you can say somebody like Tyler Anderson wasn't giving postseason starter in 2022, and he did a pretty damn good job of it in his lone start, the start where he was taken out too early. See my guy Jeff in the chat, Locked On Dodgers. Guys, make sure you make Locked On Dodgers your second listen every morning. Listen to my show first, or do it the other way around, whatever you want. But appreciate you hanging out with us. Jeff says might as well get deGrom and let his annual 6 healthy starts be for the Dodgers in October. I mean, how many times has this team been linked to Jake deGrom over the years? If he could be healthy, if he could be that guy that we knew back in the day, the 2015 Jake deGrom, the 2018 dominance, whenever he was the most dominant, the Cy Young Award, Jacob deGrom. This is a frightening baseball club. And if you get Yoshinobu Yamamoto back, that's a lot of fun. But he's owed a lot of money. He still has, 3 years left on his deal, I think, after this year. And he can't stay healthy for the life of him. So, hey, maybe he is a Dodger. Maybe he's meant to be a Dodger because, that whole can't stay healthy thing. So I highlighted a few names here. And, of course, we got to talk about the Garrett Crochet thing because I think everybody's looking at Crochet. We talked earlier on the All Dodgers Discord server talking about, Tommy Pham. If they did add Pham, where would Pham fit in? Say that 3 times fast. Pham fits in. Somebody who can play a little bit left, play some bench for you as well. Be on the bench. For me, he is a massive upgrade over Kike Hernandez, and I don't care about Kike and his ability to play everywhere. I don't care about how he wore a banana 10 years ago. He's not playing well. They signed him to an only $4 million deal. Give him a chance elsewhere. Maybe he wants to go play full-time elsewhere. Maybe he's annoyed at his playing time here. I don't think he's the best fit for this roster as it is. Give me I can't field a baseball Andre Lipskis with a bat before giving more Kike Hernandez plate appearances, before giving him more plate appearances. I'm out. I'm so sour on Kike Hernandez on this roster. Oh, he dances and he does the little face. Like that's not a fucking role that wins you baseball games. Kike Hernandez rant over. But there's Pham, of course. There's Luis Robert, who seems to, I think, has lost a lot of luster amongst Dodgers fans of late in recent vintage. One, he's going to, the White Sox are going to demand, a buttload of prospects for this dude who can't stay healthy. Another Dodger material. Can't stay healthy and isn't doing that good this year. He's hitting under, 220 or something like that. Less. I haven't looked at his stats most recently. I'm out on Lou Bob. Tommy Pham, I like him, but he's on a bench. They have another guy, Eric Fetty, we're going to see LinkedIn rumors, but if this team goes out, this Dodgers organization goes out and trades for Eric Fetty, who was forced to pitch in Korea last season because his career has been such a flame out, the Dodgers messed up bad. It's a bad trade deadline if they end up with Eric Fetty. So, with all that said, as nice as Garrett Crochet is, I don't know that the White Sox, as open as sellers as they're going to be, I don't know that they're the most perfect seller club to sell with the Dodgers or work with the Dodgers. They're not selling to the Dodgers just because those guys, they don't do it for me. They don't wiggle my pickle, if you know what I mean. Which is probably a good thing. I don't know. Depends on what you like. Darkness says we need a dog at the bottom of the lineup. 100%. A guy who would be a dog at the bottom of the lineup could also hit anywhere? Get me Dick Montfort on the phone. Let me talk to the Colorado Rockies owner. Get me Ryan McMahon in Dodger Blue tomorrow. Get me him yesterday. Add that all-star that other teams' fan bases are going to be so livid about the Dodgers adding another all-star. But Ryan McMahon is an elite defender at third base. He's a plus defender at second base. 2 spots his team needs help currently. Come on. Give me my man. Give me Ryan McMahon. Scott Gearman in the chat. What's going on, Scotty? He wants, Jack Flaherty, as we talked about last week on the channel. Nate Eovaldi, love seeing the Eovaldi in there. I just said a few minutes ago. My guy Scott, I just said it. You get me 10, 15 losses over the next 3 weeks for the Texas Rangers. Just gift it to us. Let the Rangers get so far out of the race that they sell. Because you get me Josh Smith, you get me Nate Eovaldi. I'm getting you a World Series championship, Los Angeles. I'm doing it. That's what I do. I have that kind of power. The user me says Brent Rooker. Rooker's another one of those guys having a nice year. I think he's, 18 home runs at the moment, playing some left field. It still doesn't do enough for me on the infield. Like, if we're talking about a premium bat, I really, really hope it is a third baseman. It's an infield option because they can move other bits and pieces to the outfield if they really, really need to. But right now, with the Max Muncy situation, we don't know when Max comes back, if he comes back. I think this team needs an infielder more than an outfielder. They need an outfielder as well, but I think they need an infielder more so. But yeah, let's focus in again. I'm going to keep talking about the Rangers. I'm going to keep harping on the Rangers. Josh Smith, Nathan Eovaldi, that's what I'm rooting for. The Rangers to go to absolute shit. And the other biggest trade partner, if we're talking frontline pitching options, it's Detroit. 7.5 games back. I said they're likely sellers. They're just about guaranteed sellers. Tarik Skubal, it is said that he can be got. Jim Bowden reported recently that the Tigers they don't want to move him, but there's a chance they could be overwhelmed prospect-wise from a team like the Dodgers, because the Dodgers have a bunch of dudes. And we've already seen some of these, these fake, what am I looking for? Every year, I mean, it's throughout the year, really, but every trade deadline and every offseason, Bleacher Report posts these things where some dude is in a room just making up bullshit trade articles. And I think they put one out today talking about God knows what. I forgot what the deal was. Somebody in the chat will remind me what the deal was. It might have been Skubal. It might have been Crochet. I think it was Crochet. But the players, it was Josue de Paula, it was Jair Hope, and there was one more body in there whose name is I think it was Robleski. I'm fine with that. Give me that in a heartbeat. Add in Landon Knack. That's fine. The Dodgers have so much talent. They have so much more talent coming up that isn't even on the 30 yet, the top 30 prospects list right now. They will be fine. And Shohei Ohtani comes back to the starting rotation next year. Maybe they go out and sign Roki Sasaki. You could binge and purge a few of these guys if it's an injured Nick Frasso that another team wants. One of the things me and Scott Gearman have been talking about, me and Kevin were talking about a lot this past week or last week. So a lot of these dudes, all these names we're talking about, outside of Robleski, outside of Hope, dudes are old. They are old for prospects, old for AAA. They're kind of aging out. Cole brings up Max Fried, also going to be a free agent. Would look nice in Dodger blue. But that's the future. That's off-season type talk. Tarik Skubal, I see. Where'd you go? There we go. Jeff, Locked On Dodgers, saying every Bowden article should be titled, "This is why two teams fired me" as their GM. And I do miss reading you giving that in every one of your old site articles, the place that we were employed at one point, because it was always fun to read the distaste for Jim Bowden. But I appreciate you writing them for me. Again, talked about it already a little bit earlier. Tarik Skubal, that's somebody that our boy producer Kevin's way in on. And, Jimmy Bowden, who knows nothing. He knows maybe a hair more than most of you guys do or me do in the chat. He said the Tigers could be open. He could be overwhelmed in a move. Of course, everybody can be overwhelmed. The Dodgers want it, they got it. They're Ariana Grande. They can go out, they got the money, they got the prospects, they're going to get what they want. But this front office doesn't do that. Andrew Friedman has vocalized that. Time and time again, they won't play to the market. They'll let the market come to them, and if not, they'll punt and work with what they have internally. And we saw that last year. It didn't work. And other teams, I think, are getting tired of working with the Dodgers because a lot of the times those deals kind of don't work out for them. Nick Nastrini, ring a bell. Apologies to Blake Williams, courtesy. If you can pass that along for me, Scott, thank you. He hasn't done anything for the White Sox at this point. Mitchell White, anybody? Matt Beatty, anybody? Just saying. But there are some names. Who they're going to get, I don't know. We're not at that point right now. Who I want, I saw somebody talking about Anaheim talking about Luis Rengifo, longtime former Dodger. That would be nice. I think he's played a pretty nice third base. I think we've seen him play some second base. I don't know if Artie is over the butt hurt of not getting that deal done back in 2020 to work with the Dodgers again. If they're going to do that, though, let's talk Tyler Anderson. Do people want Tyler Anderson back? Does that guy move the needle enough for you this year as somebody that could, in a worst-case scenario, be your number 2, number 3 starter in a postseason? To me, TA does not. As good as that start was, it was a flash in the pan. As good as that start was in 2022, it was a flash in the pan kind of start. Maybe there's more flash. Maybe there is. Anaheim way out of it, though. So I don't know why I put them under likely. They're guaranteed sellers. 15 games back at the moment, I think. So TA and Rengifo, that's nice. That helps your club. I don't know that it's championship-like help. We've also talked, a lot on the channel. Toronto, Justin Turner. Talked about JT on this channel 3-4 weeks ago. Even up to today, Alana Rizzo and I talked about JT a little bit. I think he's a nice fit. Championship fit, though? Is this something where we're left feeling 3 months from now, sometime just in the middle of October, if all of us are left feeling again like we did last year, where they didn't go out, they didn't do enough, they didn't make enough moves. They tried, they tried with, was it Eduardo Rodriguez? He said, nah, I don't want to go to the East Coast or the West Coast, and then he signed with the West Coast team, and he sucks. So eat a dick, Eddie. Respectfully. I want to know that we can't have that again. That's the point. Just can't have the repeat of Lance Lynn. And I think there are Lance Lynn type options out there. Like Tyler Anderson, maybe that's a Lance Lynn type of dude. Brent Rooker. We talked Rooker. I don't know that that's enough, and I don't know if it fits like a major need for this team, because we also know how this front office is. They love guys like Jason Hayward. He's not getting off the roster. CT3 needs a place to play. And we could be left frustrated again with their decisions to, let's go back to my overreaction from half hour ago. Decision to run with the guys that are on this bench because, we like the numbers on the back of the card. They've been there. They've got us there before. 2020 was a long time ago, Dave. CT3 hasn't done very much. He had a nice season in 21. Got him a lot of money. Pika Peep says Rooker doesn't fit with the Dodgers. Fully agree. Another one of those names we could throw out there. I know I just kind of bailed on whatever thought I was on. Jesus Luzardo, he is currently injured, but according to Bob Nightengale, teams are still inquiring. Miami, they got some dudes. They're not good dudes. Jazz Chisholm, we talked a little bit about Chisholm. I don't want Jazz Chisholm on this team. I don't think he's a difference maker type of bat. Now, if you're talking about Jazz over Gavin Lux, heartbeat. We're talking about Jazz over Kike Hernandez in a bench role, heartbeat. But that's not a reality. And they're going to need to pay a lot. They're going to need to pay a lot for these dudes. Scott Gearman says, get Nathan Eovaldi and Randy Arozarena. I cannonball into my pool in my Dodger blue shirt. This is more exciting. This is a more exciting trade deadline than I thought it was going to be, guys. Like, when we looked at all the moves this team made in the offseason, I was like, that's a pretty complete roster. The biggest question mark for me, and I think a lot of people, Scott, I believe you were involved in this as well, was Alex Vesia. Vesia shut us all up. He has another half of a season to continue proving he can shut us all up. But, I didn't expect the team to have these Dodgers to have as many needs at this point. But they do. They have needs. They need a starter. They need one more bat, wherever that is. Talk to Joe Davis. I don't think I mentioned that. We talked to Joe Davis today on Dodgers territory. Check it out. If you guys have not, hit the thumbs up button over there. I'd appreciate it. But he mentioned that as well. This is a team that needs a bat. It needs a pretty massive bat at this point. Wherever it goes, if it's middle in the lineup or bottom of the lineup, which is where Alana set it up. He's like, I don't know. I think they need a middle of the order bat. Wherever that is, whatever that ends up being. I don't know if that guy is out there. But if you can get somebody like a Ryan McMahon, I'd feel real effing good. It's not going to happen. It's not in reality. Tommy Pham, I'd feel better about the bench. Anything that gets me Kike Hernandez off the roster, I'm good with. Luis Rengifo, I think, makes a lot of sense for this team. Josh Smith makes a lot of sense for this team. But where this team is really going to make the biggest splashes, it feels like where it can make the biggest splashes is in starting pitching. Final thing is, I'll end this with Scott ending this. He says, my view now is to mitigate the loss of Muncy. They need to get a mid-order guy, someone with a baseline that could be impactful. Now, is that JT? Is that a Bo Bichette? Is it Luis Rengifo? Is it Ryan McMahon? Is it Ian Happ? Is it Josh Smith? There are some options, but we need more teams to crater. That's the big thing. We need teams to crater over the next 2 weeks. And then it'll be very much bode well for your Dodgers.